All right, so let's tackle this question here. And the question reads, find the mean of 12, 15, 19, 22, 24, and 18. So when we think about calculating mean, we should always immediately think about that formula, which is going to be mean equals the total divided by the count. We'll take the total and divide by that count. And what we mean by that is the total is adding all of these values up. And the count is going to be the number of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll go ahead and write that down right over here. Divide that by 6. And up here, we need to add all of these values up. So once we do that, let's go ahead and write these out. We have 12, 15, 19, 22, 24, and 18. When I see all of these, I like to think about ways that I can take less time calculating. And what I mean by that is I take a look at the 12 and the 18 together. Everybody, when we think of 12 and 18 together, I like this pair because the 2 and the 8, that makes it 10. So we have 10, 20, and then the 2 plus 8 makes another 10, which is 30. So again, those are things that I look for when I try to calculate with mental math. So I'll go ahead and move these over here and kind of replace that with 30 in my head. Next up, the rest of it, there are fancy ways, fancy approaches that we can use to use some more mental math here, but if that's a little overwhelming for you, no problem at all. We can just go ahead and take the rest and just add that up the normal way, and we'll continue as normal. So 15, 19, 22, and 24, not a problem. Just remember that at the end, we'll just tack on that extra 30. But here we have 5 plus 9, which is 14. 14 plus 2, that's going to be 16. And then 16 plus 4, that's going to end up being 20. So there we are. So just recount that. So that's 14, 16, and 20. Put that 2 right there to carry it over. Then we have 2 plus 1 is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 80. We'll tack on that 30 that we had earlier, and that's 110. So again, we tacked on that 30 from before because we just calculated the 12 and 18 beforehand mentally. So we had less to deal with, because I think we might agree that if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 adding all up at the same time, that'd be a little much, right? That'd be a little much. So all we did was just save ourselves a couple of moments by adding the 12 and 18 in our heads beforehand. So that way we can just tack that on at the end. So either way, we could have got the 110. So let's write that down right over here. So the last thing that we have to do here is, hey, we're just going to divide 110 by 6. So let's move this over. 6 going into 110. 6 goes into 11. That's going to be once. We'll subtract 6, giving us 5 left over. Drop that 0, giving us 50. And then we'll go ahead and do 6 going into 50, and that will be 8. So then from there, 8 times 6 is 48, giving us 2 left over. And from here, we actually don't really need to do any more work because we know that there's going to be more work to do in terms of bringing this decimal on board and then getting more. So everybody, is it going to be a perfect 18, or do we believe that it's going to be a decimal or a partial of 18? Even before we do the work, I think we can all see that, yeah, it's going to be a partial. We don't have a clean division. There is a remainder. So if we continue, we'll see, hey, 6 goes into 20 3 times, and there's that 3 that we see right there. So we don't even need to continue. We don't even need to confirm that other 3. We know that the answer here is D, where 18.3 repeating, or 18.33, is going to be the mean of this set. All right, next question, coming right along here, my party people. So we're checking this out, and as always, read that question first, so understand the goal. So what is the perimeter of the resulting figure? So what is the perimeter of the resulting figure? So the key word here, everybody, again, the main thing, we always want to fixate on things that we can recognize, that we can translate. And we see that it says again, what is the perimeter of the resulting figure? So just like we've seen before so far in this kind of class, we've noticed that, figure could be a square, could be a rectangle. We don't know what that is. Let's confirm that we know what that is before we get into it. So with that, here we go. Let's go ahead and just write down that we're looking for perimeter. And let's see what shape this is. So similar premise, it says that two congruent, so two squares that are the same, two congruent squares with a side length of 9 meters are joined edge to edge. So we can kind of draw this out like we did before, where if we had, hey, this square over here that's 9 meters on each side, if we connect that with another square of the same exact size, we see that we're going to have 9 meters there and 9 meters there. But everybody, instead of writing 9 meters and 9 meters for each of these, let's just combine them because now those are one side. So 9 meters plus 9 meters, what's that going to be? Yeah, that's going to be 18 meters, nice and easy. So we'll go ahead and erase that and bring in 18 right there. Because everybody, we're looking for the perimeter of this resulting figure. And just like before, we have to recognize that this combination, so this connection right there, that doesn't count towards the perimeter. The only thing that counts towards the perimeter is the outside of the shape. That's it. So with that, since we're looking now at a rectangle where we have a length here and a width there, again, we can clearly see that this is no longer a square. This is now a rectangle. All we have to do is use the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle, and we are good. So with that said, we have 2 multiplied by the length, so that'll be 2 times 18. Then we have 2 times the width, which is 2 times 9. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and do 2 times 18, which is 36. 2 times 9, which is 18. And now we'll add both of these together, and we are good. 36 plus 18, 6 plus 8, that's 14, carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 5. So we see that the distance around this rectangle is 54 meters, and we are good. The correct answer here is A. Again, this was not a question where we would just double the perimeter. Since we have 2 circles, we have to take into account that they are joined right over here in blue, or in green, in green, that the 2 squares are joined edge to edge, which is right there. They are joined right there. And so we don't count the middle part, and we just take into account the outside. So again, these are good questions, right? Because even if I showed them to you, back to back, and you were like, oh yeah, I know what I did in the previous one, so I'll do that same exact thing. But notice how we have 2 different questions that we could ask for the same premise. One where we ask for the combined area, one that we would ask for the combined perimeter. And we don't just blindly multiply by 2. We have to consider the circumstance. We've got to consider what's actually going on. So far, I really hope you're enjoying these problems. Even if you haven't gotten every single one correct, I really do hope that you're enjoying what's going on so far. So let's turn our attention over to the next one. Keep kicking butt. Keep having fun.